we'll start off with a question that's just come in online about safe haven and why the yen is considered that. What is a safe haven? When funds, in terms to especially geopolitical tensions, such as what's going on in the Ukraine at the moment, or any sort of war or conflict, investors seek to secure their money in assets that one calls safe havens, but assets that are considered immune to such political tensions. Gold is one of the most obvious ones, but government bonds is another one. So, and sorry, the third one would be the Swiss national banking system, because they're always sitting on the fence and never get into a fight, and their banking system is pretty strong and secure in terms of it's not going to fall over and run away with your money. In fact, they don't tell anybody whose money it is. So when there's a safe haven flow in terms of geopolitical tensions like now, people place their money or look to secure their money in these kind of assets. So you'll see products such as gold rally, and you'll see the American bonds, which are considered safe haven. The Swiss will rally because of money's flowing into their banking system, and Japanese government bonds are also considered a safe haven asset, and have for many decades, since pretty much the 60s. So money will flow into the yen and the Japanese government bonds, so the yen will strengthen. And we can see a little bit of it this morning, not much of it, but obviously as this falls, that's the yen strengthening. So that was what safe haven assets or safe haven flows and concepts. I hope that sort of clears that up for you. So I've got a few emails to go through today, and as I promised on Friday, I'll go through all the pairs. So let's get into the emails. First one is the CAD Sing, which this one is looking at trend continuation, lower highs and lower lows, and we have a nice retest of that trend line. That's well discovered. A moving average resistance, yes, you're floating around the 50. We've got horizontal resistance. Yeah, I can see that. That's a good one. RSI convergence. Yeah, price and momentum are reflecting each other. Bearish price action. Train tracks. Okay. No major level of support. Well, there is, being this low here, you've identified. But that's in the terms of risk reward is far enough away. Trend line resistance, no, not this direction, but yes, you've discovered it in this way. So that all looks pretty good. The loonie obviously gained some strength last week on the back of the Burger King deciding to buy a Canadian food outlet, and but the Singapore dollar tracks the US quite strongly. So if the US dollar is gaining in strength, then this pair will continue to weaken, which is also what you're looking for. So that's pretty good. Yeah, some CAD strength coming in this morning, and some US dollar weakness. You can see the Aussies rallying a bit. Euros not doing much, as you could expect at this time of day, but the Kiwis rallying a bit. So yeah, and this is coming off. So you got the US getting a little weaker this morning, but nothing too worrisome at this stage. So it looks all right. We certainly have a seller bar. If you are looking at this, you might want to consider waiting for another seller bar, because that is really only one, and it's still a higher high, higher low by the look of it. So your train tracks, well, it's well and good to consider a train track, but I'm not much of one for looking at those kind of things. I prefer to see what's going on in this bar. And yeah, Friday night was quite a deal weaker as the US dollar was gaining in strength. Okay, so next one is we've got the NOK yen. Okay, so again, if you know, things in Ukraine continue to deteriorate, then we've got the yen gaining in strength, goes short through, although late entry. Price has returned above original entry, but also high test. Checklist, lower highs, lower lows, horizontal resistance. It's a bit soft, but you've got a zone there. Original bearish price action at trend line, yeah. Fib retracement, trend line resistance. Okay, so what's your argument? That it's back to where you should have got in at. Look, you would have been going in under this bar in all reality, because you would have tried this one, not got filled, and then cancelled your order, and then looked at this bar. So your price would have been in under here. What's the low there? Is 26. So you would have been looking at 77.20, and we're now it's 79.80 something. 79.86. So look, actually this is yen crossover. We're looking at this low 77.20. Must be the third decimal place. 72. You're now trading at 98. So some 20 pips higher. Again, look, if you're looking at this, you've certainly got enough in terms of risk reward, even if you're looking at these lows here. But I'd be more inclined to not go in at that price that you're looking at, but maybe waiting for another seller bar, and then trying looking at underneath if this is a lower high, lower low. Not really much of a fan of going in here unless you're looking at something like the 4-hour. Again, not really there. So I'd want to see more selling personally, as long as you then got the decent risk reward. Coming in at this is halfway through that mess there, and it's not really a strong entry. Okay, Kiwi Swiss, which is like the Euro Kiwi, above resistance, higher highs, higher lows. What are we cycling along the 200? Yeah. Above EMAs. Well, you're not. You're only above the 200. EMA support, yes. Horizontal support is soft. Really is quite. So you want to go in above this 77.35. Okay. My suggestion would be no. Question: Kiwi expected to go short this trade week. Don't enter. Yes, I agree. If you're looking at saying, okay, it's trading along the 200, then yeah, there's a potential entry here, but you don't have a, need to have some sort of horizontal. Is that a strong one? Not enough data. You might on your e-signal see if that one's a strong one, or why. What did this price level here react to? And then my suggestion would be to say, well, where it's got a couple of cycles along the 200 here, so there's my Fibonacci, and where the 618 is Market's flirting around with that rather than trying to trade it as it breaks through this horizontal level that you've identified at 77.35. I would want to see, if that was the case, I'd want to see, I'm not a fan of trading breaks, I'd want to see a retest of it, go through it and retest and then look at going long. However, this, whilst the Kiwi is looking to go short, the euro is certainly under a lot of pressure, and there's the ECB is out on Thursday, I think, Thursday night, and maybe they will do something. There's certainly, with Putin running around, there's certainly going to be continued weakness in the euro area. But then you've got the offset that the Swissy might strengthen on the safe haven. So it's a bit of a tricky one, this one. And I think there's better opportunities elsewhere. So as you suggest, stay out of it. Okay. That's the long trend line. Let's come back to which one? It's 382. That's the 50. Hasn't gone back there. Bounced off the 786 off this cycle here. Just need to see if these highs, which is that low, there's any sort of stronger support. And again, I still think it's a weaker one. Euro Kiwi. Euro Kiwi. Lower highs, lower lows, below the moving averages. Yes, horizontal resistance. Yeah, across here, there's that certainly a zone there. These two lows and that one there you've identified. That's good. RSI convergence, bearish price action, fib retracement resistance, trendline resistance. That's all looking pretty good. It's a bit tricky over the last couple of weeks, with both of them coming off in terms of against the US. Kiwi obviously got smoked, and the euro also under pressure. I suppose the question then is this FOMO trading? Well, not really. It hasn't sort of gone anywhere. It's kind of, if you look at it, stuck between that high and these lows that you've identified across here. And so I think a breakout of that trendline resistance was it? Bit of a concern would be this here, but in terms of getting a risk reward, you could be looking at these lows here. So some sort of 250 pips, and if you looked at that there, that's 210 pips. So it's 1 to 1, not ideal, but doesn't mean there's not an opportunity there. Could be kind of looking at the shorter time frames. Convergence, yeah. Yeah. How big is this support down here? So $1.52. Yeah, that's about 500 pips away. It might be giving you, if you're risking 200, Interesting. 200 there. Even on the weekly, that looks pretty good. 200 to 400. That looks like a better prospect. So, good work. Even potentially that channel that you identified could be a potential target. What are these arrows? What's this? CAD Swiss, is it? CAD Swiss, yeah. Oh, sorry, going back to your Euro Kiwi, is that valid? Yeah, that horizontal level. RSI is close to oversold and Euro is oversold. Do you think I should have waited on this trade? Well, look, the Kiwi is now not oversold, and so that could continue to weaken, which might have a detrimental effect to this. The Euro has still got, yeah, it's oversold, but I think there's still a bit more potential selling to come. ECB this week may see a bit of a rally towards the ECB and potential rally towards this level here. You know, but the Kiwi also could be looking at a bit of a rally up to these levels. So it's a tough one. I wouldn't necessarily look at the majors in this instance because they're both in the same boat. So you'd be looking at this as just as it's standalone. And standalone, you've got to go with it. You know, selling. There's more of that than there seems to be of buying. So, and on the weekly, it's in the middle, and the daily, there's still room to go on the downside. So, Aussie dollar, you got break even. Euro pound. End of day, took the trade at 79.50. 79.50. Yeah, so you're in the money. You got two seller bars, so you could get your stop to break even. Okay, CAD Swiss. CAD Swiss. Not sure what all those arrows are, but there's certainly a bit of resistance. Was resistance there, and you've got a rising, ascending triangle. After the boot camp, you explained how you looked at it, a breakout trade. I found one, so I stuck the same rules. You explained it and went, well, do you think my stop loss is too close? A stop loss support line and below the 50 EMA, 82.86. No, no. You have it underneath this trend line, and then underneath that, you know, these lows, that highs, yeah, 82.80 would be a reasonable place for a stop. Thank you for answering my questions and analysing my charts. Cool. Yeah, look, there's with this particular pair, it does look like it's getting overdone, and you do have two buyer bars, so you might move your stop in a bit closer now. Oh, that was after there. So you get your stop at break even, and now you're waiting for either hitting a target that you might have set, or if you're looking to, because it's getting overdone, I don't know how much further it's going to go. You know, you might set a target at the 1.272, which should be easily presume you got around here, 83.40. Yeah, 83.40 you got in. I would have originally had it 82.80 as a stop, so you're talking 60 pips. And you're 100 in there, you're in 100, so you might go for 120 two times. Or if you went for 120, you'd be in. Okay, so if you're now going 3 times your risk, it's 180, which is probably a bit too much. I don't know if it'll get there. Maybe not in this run, not with momentum up that high. So, yeah, doing 2 times your risk would be a reasonable result out of that. Cat Swiss demo. Cat Swiss 84.15. Oh, well, you got there. You would have got that. 84.15. 83.40 is about 80 pips, so that's 1.2 of your risk. I prefer to be doing at least 1.5. That's even 1 to 1. Yeah, that's 60 pips. That's 67 pips. 72 pips, something like that. Risking sort of 60 odd and making 70 odd. I would prefer to be doing a bit more, but that's you make money, so I'm not going to whinge too much. Okay. Last email before we start looking at all the pairs is the dollar NOK. I think we took this trade a week or so ago at a boot camp. I took it in here. Some may have, I think some moved their stop because of the 2 buyer bars. This is engulfing bear bar, but yeah, I would have moved my stop underneath this. And then you get another reversal bar, and you potentially move your stop under that, and then it's engulfing bar, continuation bar. So should still be in that trade. What's your analysis? There still might be the risk reward in this for you. Trend continuation, higher highs and higher lows. Yes. Finding resistance off moving average. Don't know about this support line. Doesn't look that strong, whereas this one looks a lot stronger. Don't know if my history. Oh yeah, cool. There might be a bit of resistance. What are you looking at? Where's that? Oh yeah. Mine doesn't go back that far. Yeah, it does. What's that? 2012. Move. Piece of shit. That's the support line I'd be looking at. 1375. So, in terms of risk reward, you could well have enough room in that. You know, there's plenty of room in the momentum, and you could get it up to that, and even then you're still looking at what, 75, 80 pips for 150, even 160. So there's still 2 times your risk in this, so that's okay. No major levels of resistance. Might be. Could argue that. Fib retracements 38 from there. If we have fib, yeah, I'd be inclined to go from that point. There's your 50, but if you go to that one, 50's even better. That's the first close above the 50 EMA. Oh, which is what you had. Okay, that's good. Right, that's good. What else do you say? You say you trade dollar long, okay. Dollar knock long, with some softness in oil was about the only phase one opportunity for US dollar strength. Funny thing trading, you may remember I chose this over dollar sec for the portfolio. I put the sec trade in the other neighbours, but quite different economies they are. I'll look at reducing my euro yen. However, every dumb thing Putin does is good for this trade. Dumb thing. He's a friggin' lunatic. Don't know if you need to run away yet. There's, yeah, tested this level here, which is, yeah, these lows here as well. But it's not done yet. There's still some to go. As you say, Putin is certainly helping you out on that trade. And pound, yeah, there's divergence here, and looking at it, it's really done nothing yet. Momentum's already back in the almost into the 40s. Did it get into the 40s? Yeah. Right. So you're still looking at that one. Okay. So let's start with the Aussie crosses. And Aussie dollar. That's just crap. I don't want to touch that. Going nowhere. It's just chopping. And really is just more in a range than anything else. Yeah, it's just nothing. Aussie CAD. Not quite as choppy, but also doesn't look that much fun. Really difficult, that one. And they're both the commodity currencies, so it's a hard one to suggest. And with this sort of lower high buyer bar, lower low, lower high, and it's a buyer bar, it's sort of not indicative of what's going to happen. This is a lower low than that, a lower high than that, and that looks to be a lower low than that. So the weekly would be an engulfing bar, and bloody close to it. Yeah, it is an engulfing bar, so I see that as pretty tough. Aussie Swiss, like the Euro Aussie, you'd be looking to set a target or put targets on this. Yeah, maybe the 1.272 because we're getting overdone. Still a lot of buying in here, which is great. And you should be moving your stop if you're in this to well into profit protection mode. I'll be looking underneath these two buy bars, and maybe setting a target or getting ready to exit the trade. Aussie yen, yeah, overdone. Still a bit of buying here. Yeah, there is a recent highs up here, but we haven't got there yet. Even the weekly's looking overdone. Would expect some sort of pullback and retest of this level, and maybe as an opportunity then. But at this stage, you're not going to be buying into this, and you're certainly not ready to sell it. And if you're in it and it's about managing it, then you're underneath this reversal bar at this stage, and no clear strong buying yet to move your stop. Aussie Kiwi. I'm looking at shorting this. You've got resistance there. You've got a divergence there, and I believe you've got a strong horizontal around $1.12, which it's got close to, but also you've got this Fibonacci here, which is the one I was looking at. So you've got Fibonacci cluster there. Yeah, that's the 61.8 of that move. You've got $1.12 resistance, and you've got divergence. So looking at that as a short, just need to get some selling a lower high, lower low in there, and you could be taking that back to the 50. Oh, shit, no thanks. Like the Aussie Swiss, it's certainly in a strong trend. There's certainly a lot of selling to come. That basis, that head and shoulder pattern back here. That head and shoulder pattern was, what are we looking at? I think it was 1600 pips. That's 700, close to 800. So we're looking at 1600 pips. We're only done 900, so there's some 700 pips to come. But it's not going to do it when its momentum's down here, so expect a bit of a pullback. And if you hadn't set a target, you might look to do that, or certainly look to exit shortly. The Aussie's going nowhere, but the Euro's overdone, and it's at the 1.618, so I'd be looking at exiting that trade with RSI down here, or setting a target of the 1.618 and being happy with the result. Pound Aussie. It's a little tough on this one. It's class C divergence, which is not the strongest. But there's a potential, trade this back to the 50 EMA, which is also these lows, double lows here. I don't. Sorry for my mumbling, but I'm not. It's. I'm a buyer of the pound, and I'm a believer in the bullish cable. And the Aussie's really just going nowhere, so this could well get back up there. So there's another potential trade too. It's just, there seems to be a lot of phase 2 trading at the moment. Just hang on a sec. You're still listening? You're still there? So there's a couple potentials there. Yep, cool. Cable. Yeah, this. Looking at this, you could be looking for a phase 2 trade. Certainly has the divergence. You've got Fibonacci resistance in that move. Or Fibonacci support, sorry. And if we look at even potentially this one, you got Fibonacci, then the 382. If we go back to the daily, come to this one here, that's the 50. This one here, it's under the 618. So there's quite a few Fibonacci clusters here, and that's why the market's pulled up. It's also well overdone. But there's a lot of US dollar strength at the moment. However, this fall has been arrested, and there's potential that you can get it back up there, and it's at about a 1 to 1.8, I think. Risking 90 pips for about 170, so almost 2. Pound Aussie we've covered. Pound CAD, $1.80, good strong support. Has found that. No real divergence there though. 1.618, but just I don't see divergence here, unfortunately, because I think that could well be going at least to the 50, if not across the range. Pound Swiss. Well, you can't buy that. It's too late, and there's no idea of selling it yet. Can't can't buy it, and there's no option to sell it yet. This one a bit choppy, and you'd have to say it's pretty much range bound. You've got this level here. I suppose you've got a rising channel of sorts across there, or even potentially across there, even though that's the second touch here. Right here, right now, what are you going to do? Well, you're looking at a ring low. Momentum's quite high. Yeah, you're not going to take that long, and you're certainly not going to be looking at it short just yet, although short would be the better option, I would have thought. Pound Kiwi, messy. Lower highs here. Not really looking at this ring low as an opportunity to get long. Momentum's sort of in an area where you still got some room to move to get long. With the Kiwi going short, fundamentally this makes sense. Kiwi short, pound long. This resistance here around the 2 level is quite strong though. Yeah, it's a bit tough, that one. Fundamentally this should be going up here. Technically it doesn't suggest that it's going to. Although you've got this little ring low, it's kind of tempting. It's just, I'm not seeing it. It's not clear. Like you look at something like the euro pound, where you've got this clear cyclicity, and then you come back to that and you go, well, what the heck? Again, like the pound Swiss, this is you're too late to sell it. Certainly not going to buy it, and if you're in it, you should be capital protection, if not profit protection, by lowering stops. As I said, the pound Sing, or the Sing dollar, reflects the US quite strongly, and hence we have another one like the pound itself, another potential phase 2 trade going on here. Strong reversal bar in the direction of your trend, or phase 2, followed by a low test bar. There is a potential phase 2 trade there. You're looking at 100 pips for 190 pips, so that's reasonable at this stage. Got the divergence. You're on support. You're on extension. It's all looking pretty good. Euro dollar. Have we covered the euro dollar? Bearish bar. I still think there's some selling to come. ECB is out at some stage this week. I think it's Thursday night. Heard Goldman Sachs on the weekend calling it parity. That's fucking way down here. What, down there? Haven't been there for a long, long time. When was the last time we were at parity? Where's my time gone? Yeah, the 2002 area. Some 10 years since we've been there. Could easily go back, but maybe not in this run. This run's overcooked just now. You can't, if you're selling, if you're already short this, then you certainly have your stops above these highs here, or certainly be looking at a target. What sort of target? Well, that's a good question. It's pretty hard to spot anything. Maybe 130. It's about 100 pips away. Could do it. Could well do it. It was here at 32 to 70, and it's dropped, 50 odd pips. RSI is still there, so I could easily do 100. Euro Aussie we've discussed. Euro CAD. If you are short this, as you should be, then you should be having a target at the 1.618 because you are well overdone. Certainly putting a target in there that if you're looking to buy it, think again. If you're looking to sell it, too bloody late. You got close to 120. You now have the divergence. 120 is huge support from the fundamentals position of the Swiss National Bank defending that price, as you can see over here. But there's even some support just there. Yeah, it's only 50 pips away. Some support just there as well. We finally have the divergence, and after today, it looks like we're having some buying, so there may be a potential trade there for tomorrow morning. And I like that one because you've got the central bank to support your stop, which would be under $1.20, if not just under that. Euro pound we've covered. Euro yen. If you're short, then you got two seller bars. You can move your stop. If you're looking to get long, don't know if that's quite the thing to be doing. With Putin running around, this is going to continue to weaken because it's only any sort of conflict there is going to hurt the euro dollar, and it's going to strengthen the yen. So it makes sense to be short this. There is that support level there that I've just highlighted, but we've got plenty of room in the momentum to push through that. And yeah, so your stop should be above that. Don't necessarily need to have a target just yet, but you certainly be comfortable with that. And if you're looking to short it, no opportunity in the daily time frame yet. We've covered that one. Euro knock. Some sort of support around there. It's not quite there. Yeah. There is divergence there, clear divergence, but no real strong buying just yet. Euro Poland. Not really interested. Euro Sec. Trying to do something. It's just not going anywhere. Alright. If you had gone long here, your stops should certainly be underneath this low test bar, which is today's bar, and you'll be doing that tomorrow morning. If you are short this, well, sorry, if you're looking to short this, I think you're barking up the wrong tree. If you're looking to long it now, you need to wait and see some more buying, getting a ring low formation. Range no divergence, no buying yet. If you're trading this across here, you might get your stop to break even and see how that fares. No divergence, certainly on support. If you're short, 2 seller bars, 3 seller bars, your stop should be above here. Looking to get long, not yet. Don't have, and you may not get divergence. Euro Sing, 10, 11. You have divergence, no buying. And I don't think my history goes back far enough to tell us if there's a horizontal there, but I remember looking at this last week, or someone was looking at this last week. Hasn't quite got down there anywhere yet. So there is divergence there, just no buying yet. And the ruble should be weakening. The UK want to bring in SWIFT, cancel the SWIFT transactions for Russians. If those of you who don't know what SWIFTs are, SWIFT is the International Banking Transfer Code. So to basically deny any funds coming into Russia, and potentially any funds coming out of Russia electronically. So that'll be a bit of a hiccup for them. But the black market and the cash market still exist, so the ruble will continue to weaken. Good luck trading that though. You know, this huge kind of bar. That's today. Ruble weakened, I'd say, a bit on Friday. I think Putin's remarks came during the day, but the market didn't really pick up on it until late Friday night, Saturday morning. Right, let's go into the yen. Do you see an inverse head and shoulders in the euro yen? Well, potentially, yeah, I can see what you're looking at. There's your left shoulder, right shoulder forming, and there's your head, and your neckline certainly pointing in the direction, or potentially pointing in the direction. There's your neckline, and so you're looking at 250 pips, so 500 pip run back up. That'll bring it back up to this area here. Yeah, and there's a good strong head and shoulders patterns are the inverse or the right way up. You need their trend reversal, so potentially that's the case. There's obviously a strong support line somewhere around there. If we look at the weekly, not much there. So I do see what you're saying, and you'd certainly look to monitor that over time, but you wouldn't be taking it until it sort of gets back up to this resistance level here, and potential retest of it. Okay. Dollar yen. Well, might get some divergence here in time. A similar or higher high. US dollar's getting pretty strong here, or the yen's getting weak, which is interesting. Yen's getting weaker. Look, you can't buy that at this stage, and it's not yet ready to sell. CAD yen, similar story. You're not going to be buying that, but you certainly be. You got resistance up here. And you're getting overdone, so finding some sort of divergence, you might get a selling opportunity. Bigger resistance around there, but it's not going to get there in this run. Oh, wrong way. Swiss yen. No. Good potential. It's pretty hard to see that one. With momentum coming off, you expect it to be a little weaker, but I don't see that there's much left in that. This is a bit of a battle between the safe havens. That's what I see that. The EMAs are flattened, so it's effective. That would indicate that you're in a bit of a range. And by all intents and purposes in the middle of that range, or close to it. Yeah, not in love with that. This one looks better because you're moving away from that horizontal resistance, although there is that support line. Yeah. QE yen, look, closing price going nowhere. I can't buy that or sell it. What's that thing? 382 doing down there. Oh, that's that. I haven't seen a cycle above it. I wonder why the yen's weakening. They just had news, didn't they? They had some news this morning. Capital spending. Maybe that's why the yen weakness this morning. Perhaps they don't think Putin's much of a worry, not as much as I think he's a worry. So they're looking at that headline, capital spending figures has come off, which would indicate that maybe the Bank of Japan needs to do some more stimulus to increase capital expenditure. Aussie yen we've covered, Mexican yen, NOK yen, we've covered that one too, haven't we? Sing yen. We might see some divergence and some selling up here like the dollar yen, but it's not there ready yet, and you're not going to buy it up here. You're certainly not ready to sell it. Choppy. It's a bit messy too. It's not easy to trade. Aussie were covered, Euro were covered, Pound were covered, Kiwi were covered. Haven't we covered the Kiwi? No. Look, if you were trading this as a phase 2, your stop should be underneath that. If you're looking to sell this, you're a game man or person, game trader. The horizontal was not all that strong. I think we might be heading under 83. This is something you would like to look at the shorter time frame, like this 4 hour, and participating in that. But again, that's probably a little late now. So then it's a matter of trading this one, the hourly, and going, okay, well then, let's look to risk 20 pips for 40 or 50 pip run back down to these lows of 83. Still some room in the daily before it gets oversold again, so that's a potential option. Dollar Swiss, like the euro, you can't sell this. You're not going to buy it up here, and you're not going to sell it yet. This one's tricky. I'm not sure how to be looking at this. Look at this as staying away. Fundamentally, I'm bullish CAD and still am, but this has been a little tricky with this kind of aggressive bar, inside buyer bar, then an aggressive engulfing bar. Would suggest that you should be looking at taking this long. Your risk reward on this is what I'm concerned about, and also the fundamental belief of it. The momentum sort of towards the downside. So the other option is, if I'm not going to buy it, am I going to sell it? Well, no, you're not going to do that either. So buying it, I think, is tricky. Selling it is not an option. Perhaps just walking away from it is the best one. Dollar Sing. You've got a moving average, that the 50 EMA, that's relatively flat. You've got a large support line here which has been tested. Momentum's in the middle. What is it? 53. A higher low today. I mean, we're getting all these lower highs. Then an engulfing bar, and then an inside bar. It's not really clear. This run up didn't make a higher high. The immediate trend or sentiment is certainly to the downside, or looking at range. If you are looking at a range, maybe this is your target around here. But with the momentum in the middle, you're not saying, I wouldn't be calling it a range. But can you call it a trend continuation? Is there any trend there? Well, no, I don't really see a trend. So again, same with this one. It's just not much happening. Hasn't for several months. And so again, lower highs, higher lows. It's just rather messy. Rather too messy. Sorry. The one, some people took this phase 2 trade. Should have got out at break even, or have made a few pips, having gone under that reversal bar. It's now convergence. Some people took it short. Well, you should be above this bar as a reversal bar. Is there an option to buy this now? I don't see that. And certainly, is there an option to sell it? Maybe on the shorter time frame, if you can get it there, because the momentum is certainly to the downside on this, and you've got enough room to run back and retest these lows or another level. So might be an opportunity on the shorter time frame there. We do have some data out at 11 o'clock in the Chinese manufacturing, and then 45 minutes later the merchant bank HSBC giving the same manufacturing PMI, and I prefer to believe HSBC than the Chinese government. Can't sell it, can't buy it. Covered this one. If you're in it, it's managing it. If you're looking at it, there's still potential in it for a trade today. You're not going to buy that, and you're certainly not going to sell it. The ruble. Stay away from that. Anything could happen there. Dollar sec again. You can't buy that. It's not ready to sell. Be looking for shorts here with divergence, but again, there's nothing opening up there. Turkish lira. Maybe if this is a higher high, but otherwise not really. Okay, so that's all the tradable products on your prop account. A quick sort of glance at them. I hope you enjoyed. I shall see you on Wednesday if there's no other questions. Be aware of this calendar because this week is pretty tricky. We've got a holiday in the US tonight, so that's going to be pretty quiet. And then we've got RBA tomorrow, and then you've got quite a few figures out on Wednesday. Wednesday night you've got the Canadian Central Bank. Thursday you've got Japanese Central Bank. You've got the British Central Bank, and you've got the the European Central Bank on Thursday. Fun days. And then Friday you've got Canadian and the US unemployment. So fun week. And you've got Putin being a pain in the ass. So should be interesting. Be vigilant. Email me if you need me. Otherwise I shall chat to you Wednesday morning, guys.